We are asleep. Our life is a dream. But once in a while, we wake up enough to know that we're dreaming.
When we calm our mind, we can change the world, and we never feel alone, never alone forever. When we calm our mind, we can change the world, and we never feel alone, never alone forever.
How to be in this world and not of it. How to find a place of your own. How to never feel
There is one
alone.
hope beyond every challenge, a light between the clouds, a melody. There is a divine smile, the power of true love explodes every problem. Show me the way. When we calm our mind, we can change the world, and we never feel alone. Oh, never feel alone forever. When we calm our mind, we can change the world. Never feel alone, never alone forever.
We are
Yes, we are. Oh, hello, everybody.
Hello, we are never alone.
No, he sings it all the time. I kind of listen to it as a mantra. When you have the mantra that you're never alone, you actually are never alone.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very true.
Yes.
So this is our new interactive talk show.
Yes, it's very interactive because people can ask questions, we can ask questions, they reply, they
Yes,
talk
you
directly.
can even answer in French.
Oh, in French.
You can reply in
Eh bien,
French.
c'est avec joie de répondre en français.
Bah oui, c'est très important. It's very important. It's an international interaction.
Muchas gracias.
So you can see on the scrolling at the bottom of the screen, you can see menti.com. If you go on menti.com on your phone and use the code 138145, you can answer the questions that we'll be giving out during this live talk show for an hour.
And the first question that
Yes.
we wanted to ask to our friend, to audience, the first poll, it's, are you ready to help someone to never feel alone? Are you ready to do that?
Are you ready to help someone so that they never feel alone?
Yes. This is one of the main questions that we can have in this world today. Are you ready to help someone to never feel alone? So you can contact, you can say yes, you can say no, you can say...
You could say whatever you want, but we really want you to say yes. It's very important. We're using a new technology and we're trying to really bring the community together. So the more this is interactive, the more fun it will be and the more connected we will feel and also be energized with all the content that we'll be sharing throughout the next weeks.
To help you to never feel alone, we have also some special guests because the show will be really exceptional. There is, of course, Deepak Chopra. And first, also, we say a big hello to Punacha, our brother.
Yes,
Punacha is in our
Punacha.
heart. And soon, Punacha will be with us
Yes.
here to talk with you. And we need Punacha.
Mhm.
So he's also the co-founder of this movement. He works a lot for the film. He
Yes.
gives a lot of advices. So Punacha is here in our heart and soon with you.
Yes.
So we have Punacha, we have Deepak, of course. There is also Michael Beckwith, Reverend Temple Ace, Enna Love, and of course, Myron McKinley, our brother, the music director of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like that, we never feel alone.
So a reminder to just log on your phone for the menti.com and put in the code, and then you'll just have this phone as an interactive instrument, like a channel changer, kind of, It's too English.
So I think the idea could be to start with Michael Beckwith.
Yes,
if you
okay.
agree,
Mhm.
and maybe not. Also, if you agree, also.
Okay, no, I think
It's very interactive.
No.
So-
I think we should. I think we should start on why we made this film.
Yes.
Why did we start by making this film? I Am Never Alone. The title's I Am Never Alone. You can see it. It's still work in progress. It's a director's cut. As we are here, we're realizing that there are things that we need to modify and expand on. And this is why it's an interactive film. So why did we decide to do this film, Michel?
This film started 10 years ago.
Mhm.
I remember in Paris, I saw in the news the suicide of a child, and I was speechless. And immediately the idea came to make a film. And no one was interested by this idea. But I bring you this idea, and it makes me cry when you say immediately, Michel, I want to do this project. So it was a blessing to do this project with you. And on your shoulders, she carried all the film on the shoulders.
That's sweet.
You have carried all the film on your shoulders. And it was not easy. It was difficult. And it was amazing when we met Deepak Chopra, Punacha, Temple Ace, Michael Beckwith, Marianne Williamson, everyone decided to help the film. So we are never alone when we create a project like that. We don't feel alone when we love someone, when we give love. We feel alone when we are close in our ego. But to live, it's to give. To live, it's to give. To live, it's to give. So to live, it's to love. As say Enna, we will have Enna Love. She's also in the film. She's an amazing poet. And to live is to love. So when we love someone, we cannot feel alone. What is your opinion about that?
Yes.
What you think about that? We would like to debate with you about the fact when we love, we don't feel alone.
Mm-hmm. I think that's very well said, Michel. The film is really made to create a community and to expand on a discussion.
Yes.
But why did we use a narrative? Just before we go to the next extract of the film, why we use a narrative? Because we feel that the power of storytelling can move you into action. Yes. And the action is what we're doing right now. How are we making people to never feel alone? Yes. How are we making people to feel and experience love?
It was your vision. It was your idea. I remember I say, Gabriella, you found a new way for the suicide prevention through storytelling. Let's see with Michael Beckwith what Michael said to that.
Please watch the extract.
We look at America, this highly industrialized society. I sometimes call it a high-tech, low-touch society, very technologically advanced. But the imprint on our kids has placed like a false sense of success. It's a lot of pressure.
Again, the wisdom traditions tell us that all human suffering comes from the illusion of the separate self. And right now, we're living in a world where that separate self is being reinforced through technology, through media, social media. People are being encouraged to be narcissistic. Narcissism is also an experience of separation. So separate self is the cause of all human suffering.
We have to, allow we have to create another vision for what success is. A successful individual is compassionate. A successful individual is generous. A successful individual is creative. A successful individual is not necessarily a celebrity, not necessarily a well-known person. Everyone's been imprinted with the false notion of success. So little kids have this tendency to be imprinted by this consumer-driven society, there's no real vision. So we have to bring back what a real vision is for a human life, for a human being, for a society. It's not celebrity. Celebrity has removed wisdom and compassion from the throne of life. We have to put compassion and wisdom back. Then good citizenship will be recognized as individuals who are making a contribution to the world. And everyone can make a contribution. And so the esteem and the self-love and the self-appreciation will not come because people have attained a tower of financial success or celebrity. Success will be your heart.
Success will be your heart.
Success will be your heart. You know, I think it's very important that you know, the people who are watching, that you know that you don't need to have millions of followers to make a difference in this world, that you don't need to post endless selfies of, you know, the mirror of the illusion of self to be relevant. You don't need to do that to not feel alone, you see. I want you to know that you're loved, and all of the activism, when I say activism, it's not the angry activism. I'm not angry. I'm not. I lost my sister to suicide, as you probably know. This is why this journey even means so much more to me. But I am about the inner activism. How do we move ourselves into action? How do we love beyond borders? How do we translate and go into a universal language, you see? And that's really the mission of Never Alone. We're creating a movement that is not about celebrity, that's not about talking, that's about being. It's about being present to one another. Now, the next little journal, because we have an interaction here.
We have a question also.
Yes, exactly.
So do you, I mean, yes, how can you help someone to never feel alone, as we say? So you can write on menti.com, you have the code, 138145. The things that we can say also, it's everyone.
Yeah.
As you say, it's not a question of celebrity or selfie, but everyone, we have the responsibility to be kind with everyone. When we talk to someone, it's a big responsibility. So when we are kind, we calm the mind. When we are calm, we are kinder. So calm and kind are interconnected in the brain. And the more we talk slower, kinder to someone, the less the person feels alone. So in this world, and you know this situation with your sister, because it's a thing to talk about suicide, it's another thing when we leave the situation.
Well, I think the message here is to really embrace the inner knowing and the strength of conscious leadership. You know,
Absolutely.
You know, everyone's a leader here. You don't need degrees, you don't need PhDs, you don't need to be a president, you don't need to be a celebrity. You just need to be a human being, embracing the presence of the other.
And the spiritual ego is the worst ego that we can develop. We are expert, we are PhD of ego. It's a disaster. It's a disaster.
So I think, you know, if you sit with those little things and even in your own activism, be empowered that you're not alone in your own activism, that you are heard, that even one life that you can save, one smile that you can trigger onto the person that you love or a stranger in the street, even with a mask on,
The heart smile.
you know, the heart smiles and the eye smiles and I'm smiling. So the point is that we have to find a new language of love and community and being communed, you know, tuning into each other. I think you speak about that a lot with your music, Michel.
Yes, but I love when you talk about a sort of spiritual activism. This is what you say, Gabriella, today. I really love that, because this is, for me, the future of the spirituality. The future of the spirituality is to be very concrete, very simple, very efficient. This is to be activist. This is what you do. This is what you did during 10 years to carry the film on your shoulders.
Yeah, you know, time is timeless in consciousness.
It is true. So let's go to keep going on the polls and to reply to the question, as we say, how can you help someone to never feel alone?
Yes. What are your solutions? I'd love to hear them, because what we want to do, what we want to create, obviously this is the first show, but what we want to create is a tailored content with your content that we can then distribute and share with the community.
Yes.
And it's an expanding community. This is just the beginning. But the beginning is comprised of you.
We don't feel alone when we talk quietly to someone, because the person feels that we deeply listen her or him. To talk quietly, to be very present to every person that we met. This is spiritual activism. As you say, it starts at Starbucks. We arrive with your mask. Okay. $5. But it starts at this moment when we ask with our mask or cafe latte, when we go at Whole Foods, when we go at CVS, when we say hello to our friends, any moment we talk. This is our responsibility. This is like that we resolve the suicide. So we have also exceptional guests in this show. And every week we want to bring you very exceptional guests. We have today a community to really help you to don't feel alone. And we will start today by someone that we love. Her name is Love, but we love her again. Her name is Enna. Enna.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you all?
Oh, good. You look wonderful. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, Enna, it's so important for us that you are the first guest that we receive.
Yes.
I'm delighted to be your first guest.
So important because Enna is in the film. She plays in the film. She plays a teacher of your son in the film. But Enna, since the beginning, we create all this project. Enna support us, give all her love. She gives all she can to help us to create all that we do, application and music and all. And Enna, she used an amazing tool to help us to don't feel alone. Poetry. It's very surprising, but this is the power of the medicine words, the power of the beauty. Enna comes also many times at Amity Foundation with the prisoners, and prisoners, they love when Enna comes with poetry. She was on stage with us at Carnegie Hall with Deepak, Michael, Myron McKinley, Stacy, and Jan. So Enna, we are so happy to host you, and we would like to ask you if you can share a poem and also share your vision. Enna, share your vision. We have just one question for you, but do you think that with poetry, we don't feel alone? Do you consider poetry as an activist, spiritual tool to help people?
Well, absolutely, because words are so powerful. You know, I look at poetry like little short stories. And in that little short story, because we're all so hurried these days, we don't seem to have time to read or, you know, just the time we need to really dive deep into learning and experiencing, you know, all the many things that are available to us these days. But through poetry, I get to share these little short stories, little messages from the heart that I think are very inspirational, powerful, and quite healing.
Can you share a poem with us?
Yes. Before I begin, though, I would like to first give a little shout out to my mother and my children because they're all watching.
Oh, hello.
Yes, I love you. And also, because you mentioned that I'm on a mission, I would like to just say that I'm on a mission of love because I truly know and believe in my heart that love will heal the world when we're all ready to wake up and realize that love truly is the answer. And it seems so simple, but I think a lot of people have given up on love. We've forgotten. We just don't really see. But love truly is the answer. When we all open our hearts and learn to love one another again, we will heal this world together. Not only ourselves, but love will heal the world. So I would like to offer tonight, because we're all aware of what's happening in the world today, the coronavirus, all the uprising, everything that's happening. Like, truly, my heart has been breaking for the last 3 days. So tonight, I chose a poem that I think is very relevant for the time. It's a poem that I actually wrote about 3 years ago for the commemoration of the 25-year anniversary of the LA riots. And ironically, we seem to be in the midst of something similar. So I would like to share this poem of unity, because it's time for us to all come together as one people. So if you would allow me, I want to light a candle to love, because I truly know with all my heart and soul that love is the answer. So we'll let this light flame burn for love.
Beautiful, Lena. It's beautiful to do.
Thank you. For love.
I love this.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this poem again is titled Unity. It's a poem, but I actually call it a prayer. So if you'll just lend me your ears and your heart, and please receive these words. Brothers and sisters, here we are in this lifetime together, a universal family, humanity. Humbly, I sit here with a vision of faith and hope. I see better days ahead, a peaceful world for ourselves and our posterity. Hope never dies. It floats even in troubled waters. Brothers and sisters, there's trouble in the water. So much to heal within ourselves, within our world. We are living history. The world is our responsibility. We are captain of the ship, steering the wheel of life. Do we stay the course or chart a new course that leads to peace and harmony? This land is our land, the earth our home, the future in our hands. Up hills we've climbed, crossed valleys low, faced battles and struggles, disasters and woes. We protect and defend, but there's a great divide amongst ourselves, amongst the nations. Forgive me. War, injustice, and poverty, racism, hatred, and bigotry, are they necessary? Have we grown weary, indignant, or intolerant of our own kind? Mankind, humankind, what about kindness, oneness? We're so blessed. Selfishness and greed. Do we need these menacing threats to society? It's insane, inhumane what we do to ourselves and to one another. I'm sorry, I lost my place. This is live, forgive me. We waste so much precious resources valuable time, lives and lifetimes gone, wasted. We can't go back, can't get it back. There's no do-over, retake, or rewind. There is a better way, a peaceful way. Our faith may be shaken. Our fate has not been sealed. The rock on which we stand cannot be removed. How many kings or queens must come until thy kingdom come, thy will be done, heaven on earth, a rebirth, an awakening, conscious living. We are all kings and queens in the eyes of the divine. Do we not see the light? Cast your light upon the water, heal the water. We are the water, but we're living and dying in vain. There's so much pain while the answer remains in plain view. We must choose love. Love will heal the water and save us all. It's time to heal, never too late. Forgiveness is always on time. Let's build a bridge over troubled waters, cross over and start over together. Wake up, brothers and sisters. Rise and shine. Open your eyes, hearts, and minds. Restore faith in humanity. Believe in miracles. Believe all things can be. Believe in possibility. Believe in love. Love will heal the water and save us all. It's time for evolution, a love revolution, a more perfect union. United we stand, divided we fail. Let the gates of love swing open. Truth is marching on. Heaven's bells are ringing. Hope still holding on. Peace shall rule in power, and love will set us free. We are one united family. Feel the spirit of unity. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
And,
Thank you so much, Anna. That was lovely.
Thank
So beautiful.
Thank
Anna,
you.
so beautiful. Love is really, as you say, the answer. And we can say, again, the calmer we are, the more we can love. Because when we are stressed, we cannot develop love.
It's true.
Needs. We develop needs. As we say in English, I need you. It's not love, it's need. But when we calm the mind, we enter in the relation with God. And when we listen your poetry, your prayer, Anna, congratulations. We were looking for you. We say, wow, Anna is amazing. We were looking, Gabriella and me, like that, because through you, through your words, there is the divine energy. We really feel that. So, Anna, really thank you, Anna,
Thank you.
from all our heart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of love to everyone. Lots of love.
Poetry
Together we
is
can.
divine. Poetry is
Yeah.
divine.
Thank
And
you.
after Anna, so we have
A special
Hello, everyone.
Temple.
again.
Temple Hayes is an incredible soul. She's a spiritual activist, to say the least. To say the least, she's on fire. She incarnates fire in the divine feminine form on this earth. You are wonderful, Temple Hayes. I love you so much. Thank you for being part of our film. Thank you for being part of this movement. Thank you for building the communities that you are constantly expanding on, and with the movement and out of the movement. You're just on a roll. So I just wanted to thank you for all of your support, Temple, because you're an incredible woman, and I am inspired by you constantly.
You are in the film, Never
Yes.
Alone. It's my favorite sequence in the film.
A lot of people love the scene between you and her.
Oh, I love you. I love you both.
It's amazing. And Temple was also with us 2 times at Carnegie Hall in last December on stage. And also you gave the famous talk of Christmas Eve on the stage at Carnegie Hall. So it's an honor for us. I love your approach of spirituality because it's extremely concrete. It's extremely adapted to our world. Gabriella knows me. I am not very fan of experts.
No, he's not.
Because most of time experts are experts for to talk and so on. But when you talk, we really feel how you are adapted to our world.
So we have just a little poll before Temple starts. Yes. Do you feel good when you help someone? So you remember I shared earlier, you go on Menti, you take your phone, you go on menti.com, you type in the code 138145. I know this is a new system. Not many people do it, but we're doing it. So, so it's all about breaking changes and making sure that technology becomes palpable and tangible. So do you feel good when you help someone? I do.
Yes.
I've been doing meditation, humanitarian work for 18 years and meditation for about 20. So I feel great. Temple, back to you. Do you feel good when you help someone, my love?
Well, there is
help someone for you, Temple. What does it mean for you to help someone?
Well, you know, you were talking earlier about spiritual motivated activism, and I like to use the 2 words enlightened rebel, because when we're talking about being never alone, when we're talking about suicide, when we're talking about people are taking their lives, there is no doubt about it that spirituality invokes our humanity. For a number of years, I used to think back in those days of early practices that spirituality would replace my humanity, right? But as I learned and as I lived, I realized spirituality invokes my humanity. And so when I'm thinking of helping someone, the words enlightened rebel really come to mind. They're activated within me because I think it's important in people's spirituality that we do get upset about what's going on, that we do get reactive, but in a place as a rebel, that we allow our spirituality to be activated and mix with that frustration and feeling that sense of desperation at times. And when we bring the 2 together as an enlightened rebel, that is how we can help someone, because love is not just fluffy and passive. Love often is called for us to be stern and proactive in our languaging. And when I think of Gabriella and Michelle, my 2 beloved friends, I think of the 2 people that helped me the most. Because I was dying. I wasn't every day deciding I'm going to go take my life, but I wasn't really living because I was in the throes of my addiction of alcoholism. And it was the 2 enlightened rebels that spoke so sternly to me and called me on where I was and invoked in me this part of what I needed to look at in my life. And so it's life altering when I can write my friend every year and say, thanks to you and those stern, enlightened rebel words that you used, I woke up. Life found me again. I found life in me again. So what I want to say to all of you that are listening now and listening later, if you intuit that someone's in trouble, they're in trouble. If you intuit that someone needs you, don't talk yourself out of it. They need you. And bring in that stern love, that enlightened rebel that comes automatically and innately in you and speak sternly to call forth and invoke within them their spirituality that is lying dormant within their humanity. And that's what it's all about.
Wow. That's beautiful, Temple. It reminds me, one of my teachers who passed away in 2015, Sharmapa Rinpoche, His Holiness, and we actually filmed in the Sharminub in his monastery in Nepal. Many of his disciples were scared of him. So in Tibetan, we would call that wrathfulness, that wrathful quality of love.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's exactly what you're talking about. It's like he was strong, very strong, and yet his strength was a mountain of love, a mountain of love that was discerning, that was straight to the point, and it was awakening in the disciple the knowledge to just, hold on, you have to wake up.
Yeah.
You're not a victim. You
Yeah.
need to have the tools. Let's find the tools together. And you know what? You have the power to practice. So
Yeah.
thank you for that, Temple. That's like it reminds me, you know, of all the beautiful journeys that we need. You know, we need strength. It's not just fluffy. I mean, I love fluff too, by the way.
I love fluff. I
love fluff.
I love
love- Yeah, the little, like the dogs and the
I love the
squish
fluff.
their noses. You know, we love fluff,
I love
but
fluff.
enlightened rebel,
Yes.
the you know, that strong inner warrior, you know, that sacred sense of a mission that is just not about you. It's about the others.
Yes.
And
that's
through
right.
the others, we find
It's about.
the you.
Again, there is what we say and there is what we feel. When you talk, Gabriella, when you talk, Temple, when Enna read her beautiful poem, there is suddenly, it makes me cry when I was listening to you a few seconds ago, Temple, because there is a quality of love who is not human, but divine.
Yes.
There is something grandest than our intelligence. There is a quality of love grandest than our human capacity of love. And this is, I will say, this is a spiritual orgasm when suddenly we cry because there is a junction between divine and human. We cry, we feel something, wow. So Temple, when you are in the film, when you talk today, when I came all time to listen to you, I felt the same sensation that I have today. It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
Thank you.
Thank you, Temple.
Thank you,
Thank
Temple.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and see you next week. And please watch the film. Please see Temple, who's just an incredible actress.
She's an exceptional
She's
actress.
just, you're
She
amazing,
will play in
Temple.
many films with us. Huh?
Yeah.
We have a contract for many lives with Temple. You know, when we talk about a quality of love grandest than ourselves, it comes also from music. And when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I have also the idea of suicide. I was abused. My family was violent. But I listen all time, Earth, Wind and Fire. And the love that we feel in this music was my medicine. And today it's an honor to host our brother, Myron McKinley, the music director of Earth, Wind and Fire. And for me, he's more than that. He is my favorite keyboard player in the world. When Myron play,
oh, miss you guys. How you guys doing? Good to see you.
I don't say that to be kind. I say that because we feel that. And Myron is also the composer of the music of the film. And I remember it was during last summer, Myron, you were on tour with Earth, Wind and Fire. I sent you some footage. And when I receive your music and I click, we cannot be alone. I was shocked. I say, this music comes from heaven. It matched perfectly with the film. So, Myron, it's an honor.
That's good.
We have a question.
It's a pleasure to be here.
We have a question for you, Myron, before to listen to you. For you, how does music help you to never feel alone?
I would definitely say yes. It's a companion that's, for me, especially as a musician, I started playing at 3. It's definitely been there more than anyone else, and it's a way to express yourself without really communicating. It's a way of expressing yourself internally, but outwardly. because you can actually, play what you're doing and it comes out in your instrument, but intuitive people can hear and feel what music that you're giving out, what vibes or feelings that are coming from that. So it definitely is a companion to do, which is why it's the ultimate medium between anybody. You can play it at any place in the world, and whether you speak the language or not, somebody can understand it and feel it.
Beautiful.
And when you play in stadium, for example, with Earth, Wind and Fire, what do you feel when you are facing thousand people dancing, chanting with you? What's happening in your mind? What you feel exactly at this moment?
I really just think about how much the vision the Maurice had to actually put that together and have that message of love and change and betterment that was way back in their 1970s, how it's still progressing now, where you can go to the consciousness full from ages 3 all the way up to 90, 100, everybody has a memory of that stuff. So you just feel like, wow, this is lasting. The love that he put in the music is lasting beyond him. The vision is gone beyond him. It's changed so many lives. So that one of the things that I enjoy watching is just seeing the emotion that people have from whatever memory is connected to the music that makes them happy while we're playing.
That's beautiful.
And when you play with your jazz trio, because Myron has an amazing Myron McKinley
thank you.
Trio. I am obsessed with your jazz trio.
With
thank you so much.
Monsignor on drums, Ian Martin on bass. They are also my favorite musician in America.
Really?
Really, Myron, we don't say that to be kind. When we were at Carnegie Hall on stage with you, at the moment you play with your trio, we were sitting down in the audience just to listen deeply your music. Just a last question, Myron. At the moment you are on stage, like at Carnegie Hall, and you play not Earth, Wind and Fire, but your music with Stacy Lamonsinor on drums and Ian Martin on bass. What do you feel at this moment when you feel the communion with the audience? Because at each music that you play, you have a standing ovation from the audience.
Right. The funny thing is, like, when we're doing, the funny thing is, like, when you're doing Earth, Wind and Fire, it's already there. So the music's already been tried and tested. So you can just kind of sit back and relax and just receive from everybody the love, because we're not recreating anything. And the difference with when we do the trio, when we're playing our music that we created, we're trying to connect with each other as opposed to everybody else. We're trying to make sure the connection with each other is happening so much so that they feel it, which is why, I think the whole thing started is because we connected with each other and everybody else felt it. So when we heard like the standing ovation, everybody loved, we were like, oh, wow. We were shocked, and it made us feel great. But what it told us is like, okay, the music connection that we're trying to create, we are transferring that to people and they're feeling it. Even if they don't know the music theory behind it, the complexities of what we're doing or any of that, they are feeling that emotion, which is the most important thing.
I agree. Beautiful.
Myron, can we ask you could play
something
for us to don't feel alone?
Sure. Let's see. Here you go.
This is divine. This is divine, Myron. This is
Thank you.
divine.
Thank you. I was actually just told Michelle, I was like, oh, we need this in the part of our movie that we're just gonna recut the film.
I'll try to remember it.
Yeah, please remember it because I want that.
Yes, yes. In the film,
Beautiful.
you play the song O Mani Padme Hum that we have created together. And it was the first time that I sing with you 3 years ago. And this session was unforgettable. Myron, each concert that I make with you really stay in my heart forever. We love you.
Thank you. Same for me. We appreciate it.
So much.
Thank
so
you
much.
so
Myron.
much.
Thank you, guys.
And I loved
Appreciate
your music on stage at Carnegie.
Yes.
You were sitting
Thank
next to
you.
me. It was moving, and
It was
good.
beautiful
It was
when
very
you play
moved.
and Punacha make a mantra.
Oh, it was, yeah.
You make a prayer, Gabriella. Deepak make a talk. Michael Beckwith also, and Myron, you were playing. It was just divine at Carnegie.
Thank you, Myron. See
We
you
love
soon.
you, Myron. We
Thank
love you, buddy. I think this is the time of the big boss.
Yes, we're gonna show you an extract of the film about Deepak, and the question that you have to think about during this extract is, what is the happiest moment of your life? And you can be interactive. You can go on menti.com, use the code 138145, and here it is.
It's your interview with Deepak.
Oh, it's my interview. Actually,
Yes.
sorry. So it's
Yes,
not an
yes.
extract. It's my interview with Deepak about the release of the director's cut. So enjoy. I think that there's something that was that I want to kind of underline in this conversation, which I thought was very interesting, is that the suicide and mental distress is often linked to the confusion of one's identity, and therefore the nature of one's true self, if we're to put it like that. So it's interesting because what's happening is that as an actor and as a storyteller, we are constantly full of stories. We're creating stories every day, every moment, and every second. And the thing is, why we made a film and why I think why we wanted you to be in this film was to share the empathetic connection one can experience together as a viewer in the audience, to be moved to realize oneself, to realize one's suffering through the suffering of the other, to realize one's connection to the other through this feeling of oneness that I feel that storytelling can create a new pattern with one's identity, to break out of the old habits, to break out of the old mindscapes, to break out of the old storytelling and identities that one has with oneself. Because as you and I know, our beings are always moving. We are in movement. Our emotions move through us. And therefore, as a storyteller and as a filmmaker and as an actor, when stories move through us, we're able to cleanse our minds and our being somehow, and somehow maybe participate in the liberation of one's mind, body, and spirit at some point. And so, I just wanted to underline that, and maybe have your one last question would be, how do you think storytelling, I've given you my view, but what about your view in terms of how can what is storytelling? What is that imprint on maybe the brain or one's consciousness? I know they're two different entities, but how can that create healing for people who are experiencing mental unwellness and anxiety and depression?
So it's been said that to be human is to have a story. Everybody has a story. Otherwise, they're not human. And there's a backstory. There's the story that's happening right now. There's a story about the future. And there is, in every story, there are elements that There are good people in the story, there are bad people, there's the sacred, there's the profane, there's the divine, there's the diabolical, there are sinners, there are saints, there are challenges. You fall down, you get up, you lose the girl, then she comes back, or the girl loses the guy, and then they come back and live happily ever after. Every story is a love story in disguise. And there are very interesting things that happen along the way in stories, trials and tribulations, suffering and redemption. But ultimately, every story is a love story. Even tragedies are love stories gone wrong. So ultimately, every story is a love story. Even the story of depression is the aftermath of a story of love that went wrong, either self-love or love with what we call the other. That's what went wrong. Okay, so the love story somehow got hijacked or bamboozled into a tragedy with that outcome. So yeah, to be human is to have a story. And then I think one of the things we can do with this campaign is not only look at what people are saying is their story, but also what are the alternative stories, because for everyone's story, there are infinite other stories. For every thought, there are infinite other thoughts. For every scene, there are infinite other scenes. And one of the values of practices like Vipassana or mindful awareness of body or mental space or mindful awareness of the web of relationship or mindful awareness of what is me, what is the self, all these practices actually allow you to witness your story and the different scenarios. And ultimately, with these practices of self-reflection, self-inquiry, transcendence, mantra practice, body awareness, awareness of mental space, awareness of perceptual experience, awareness of awareness, awareness of relationship, awareness of the ecosystem, the web of life. I know I'm listing off a lot of things, but each of these helps you realize slowly that you are the creator of your story. You're the producer, you're the choreographer, you're the director, you're the hero, you're the villain, you are the sinner, and you're also the saint. You are the divine, you're the diabolical. Now, you can choose which part you want to play while recognizing all the other parts are different aspects of yourself. So I think that's why spiritual practices like meditation and like the contemplative inquiry that I have just mentioned, they can actually help you create a new story. What's the backstory? Well, it's over. What's the current story? I'm not feeling good. What's the future story? Where do I want to go? When I get to the mountaintop, what will I see? What are the challenges along the way? Who are the people who will help me and who are the people who are going to knock me down? And when I'm knocked down, will I get up and embrace the people who knock me down or knock them down either? So many choices. So, if the story was all good, by the way, it would be a boring story. I mean, if I went to a movie and all the people were really amazingly good, I'd walk out. I want to see the good guys win. I want to see the bad guys lose, but not all the time. If the good guys win in the end, or, they keep winning and the bad guys keep losing, but sometimes they win, that's a great story. So I think what we have to do with our very depressed world is to help them change their story so they can move in the direction, personally, in the direction of more peace, or more joy, or more well-being, and ultimately connect with the source of all stories, which is the self.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All stories. We need to change our narrative. We really need to change our narrative. And it's thanks to these tools: storytelling, mindful awareness, meditation, love, singing, poetry, music, that we can change our stories. So we're going to share the answers of Menti. So this is the first time we're doing. So as you see on the screen here, we've got the answers that you were participating in. So birth of my baby, married, my partner, love, when I saw the ocean, becoming a mother. So these are answers to what is the happiest moment in your life. The happiest moment in my life, I think, was when I went to, I've had so many moments, but one of my happiest was when I was in the Himalayas, in the deep mountains, on the peaks in the Valley of the Moon. It's called Solukhumbu. It's just a beautiful birthplace of Guru Rinpoche. Obviously, I'm a practicing Buddhist, but it really just awakened my senses. So let's just remind our place, when we go to a place, even non-locally, we feel the sensations of that place, and it brings it into our present awareness. And that's a tool also. That's a tool of changing our story. That's a tool that can change our mind frame. And you just repeat it, and all of a sudden you calm the mind, your anxiety. That's what I do. I imagine that I'm in the places that I love the most when I'm stuck here in quarantine.
The most happiest moment of my life was in a clinic in Paris when I saw my son for the first time. When he arrives. And during 9 months, when he was in the body of his mommy, I sang a melody that I composed specially for him every day. And when he arrives, I sang this melody, and this melody will be our meditation.
Yes.
Because as we know, there are different approaches of meditation. And in our approach, we consider that especially with the COVID and all the pressure, the money pressure, it's difficult to ask an effort to someone to count the breath or to take a deep breath. Just we need to unplug, poof, the brain with no talks. I will share with you this melody in a few seconds. It will be our meditation.
Thank you, Michelle. That was lovely. Thank you. Thank you for everyone who are watching.
Thank you for Gilbert.
Yes,
friend in
thank you.
Colombia,
By the way, all this
to
production,
Gilbert,
beautiful.
To Juliana, to Gilbert.
Our producer, Juliana, she's incredible.
Marcela, to everyone. It's a lot
Thank
of team.
you.
They work from Colombia.
They're working from Colombia, Peru.
Muchas gracias.
They're incredible.
Rubet, we
So
love
it's
you.
thanks to this. Please buy our film. The more you buy the film that is a director's cut, the more we're able to do more talk shows like this for the community
Yes.
with our team. It's very important that we share the message. And every story matters. And yet every story is an illusion. You see? Your story matters, but once you're able to witness your story,
Yes.
you can be free from the story.
We become the director of the film.
You know, you
We
become
are
a
sit
director, a producer, an actor, a sound designer,
And it's terrible.
an editor, and it's exhausting. Okay, sending you our
Thank
love.
you
Thank you
to
so
each
much
of
for
you.
being here.
Thank you.
Just one thing, we want to see you next week. So I hope from this time till next week, you'll be able to apply the tools, maybe watch the film, send us the questions.
Yes, yes.
You know, send us the questions of the film.
This is your talk show.
So
This
send
is
us
your
questions
talk
and angles that we can work on
Please.
for the Never Alone, the I Am Never Alone talk show. And we're very excited. And I'm going to bring a very dear friend of mine on our next show next week, and he's going to share some stories. So he's a surprise guest.
Wow.
You shall see. Yes.
Wow.
Mhm.
Thank you. We love you. God bless you.
Be
when
safe.
we calm our mind, we can.
Change the world.
When we calm our mind,
He's always
we
singing.
can change the world. Thank you to Gabriella.
Thank you, Michel.
Gabriella.
Peace out. Thank you
you.
to all our team, and thank you for watching.
Thank you, Enna. Thank you, Myron. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Michael
Temple.
Beckwith. Thank you to
Temple.
each of you. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Temple. Yoo-hoo!
Be safe.